And we are back with a brand new GoPro comparison, this time featuring the GoPro Hero 12. All of these cameras can shoot at 5.3K at 30 frames, and they can also go up to 60 frames, with the exception of the GoPro 9 stuck at 5K at 30 frames. The big difference is that you will not see 4K resolution with any of these GoPros anymore. This is top of the top class of the best GoPros on the market, ready to roll in a 4-way GoPro comparison. The initial focus of my review was on the GoPro Hero 9's video quality, a model that's been out for over 3 years. The consistency in GoPro's performance over time is actually truly noteworthy. In the footage you're currently viewing, all devices were set to 30 FPS. As I very kindly let you know at the intro, we've gotten to a point where pretty much everyone will be shooting with a minimum of 5K resolution if they own a newer GoPro. Notably, the Hero 9 is, in my opinion, very slightly warmer with a pinch of added saturation. Since the Hero 8 has been left out of the mix, the difference in quality has gotten even lesser between the 4 latest iterations of GoPro action cams, and I personally think this is really positive for potential customers, as you won't be forced to buy the newest models to be able to shoot better quality footage. Another aspect worth mentioning is the slight improvements in dynamic range. The Hero 11 and 12 excel in capturing both subject and background details, while the 9 and 10 are once again very slightly behind, with a bit less detail in darker areas and also in very bright areas like the sky behind the trees. It's actually really hard for me to describe these differences without overblowing them because they just happen to be very minimal, but I'm trying my best. We also took the cameras down to our studio and shot some video in our testing corner to check out how different colors were represented. Once again, they were very similar, and only when we cropped into the footage an insane amount, we were able to see that the Hero 12 has less noise than the others, with the 9 lagging behind due to a slightly lower resolution. Even then, you need to realize I'm trying to nitpick as hard as I can here because all of these are performing at a good level regardless of the differences in hardware and software. Ultimately, your choice of action camera will depend on your specific filming needs and whether features on the latest Hero 12 are worth the extra cost to you, and we will get to them in a bit. Video quality is undeniably crucial, but there are also other game-changing features to consider in your purchasing decision, and this can be characterized by some software implementations that give you different options while shooting videos. HDR is one of them, and it is such a relief that GoPro have finally decided to delve into this, as Insta360 was working on HDR modes for a long time now. The Hero 12 now has this, and you can see the major difference when directly facing the sky. Pretty much the only downside to this mode, and this is the same for the Insta360 action cams as well, the quality isn't extremely good like a regular video, and you may sometimes have issues with white balance depending on the scene. Regardless, as long as they keep improving this mode, I am certain we'll see HDR modes in action cams being used much more compared to how they're being experimented on right now. Oh, and by the way, if you're enjoying this content, we would really appreciate if you could like this video and subscribe to our channel. Now, back to the discussion at hand, which just happens to be stabilization. So basically, here is what the footage looks like when you turn stabilization on. The 9 looks pretty shaky, the 10 looks pretty good, and the 11 and 12 look very minimally better, I think. Now, normally, we would turn on boost after this, which crops in the frame and gives you better stabilization. The issue is the 12 only has auto boost, which is pretty self-explanatory. This is why it's not cropped in like the others, and it doesn't seem to crop in while shooting either, but at least it works pretty well. Here's a side-by-side comparison of the two cams that have auto boost, the 11 and the 12. Unless my eyes are playing tricks on me, they both look pretty similar, so I don't know why GoPro removed the boost option from the 12 when they could have just left it there. There's also horizon leveling or lock, depending on the model that you have, and since the 11 had the ability to lock you in the frame, the 12 obviously has this as well. There is a max lens mod that you can buy for the 9 or the 10 if you would like to be able to do this, but the 11 and the 12 have this feature out of the box, giving you the ability to shoot the coolest stunt footage you can think of while keeping you steadily in the frame. Still though, there is a very cool feature in the Hero 12, and they've managed to win me back after the small annoyance I had with the stabilization options changing once again, but enough negativity. Time for some positivity in terms of a small mic quality comparison between these four, so let's take a look. And of course, this would not be an action cam comparison if we did not check out the mic quality, in other terms, the audio. we will be looking at the audio quality of the GoPro Hero 9, the 10, the 11, and the 12, and there's actually a small surprise coming from the GoPro Hero 12 because now you can connect your Bluetooth earbuds to this action cam using the microphone instead of buying a microphone or using the one embedded in the camera itself. I think that you should definitely get a mic to use with these action cams, but you might not always have it with you. You might forget it at home, and this is why I also do think it's kind of important to have an action cam with a good mic so that you can take it wherever you want and use it however you need. So my viewpoint is that the 9 is pretty good. However, the 10 is slightly cleaner than the 9, but the 11 surpasses them both with similar quality to the 10, but just a bit better noise cancelling to drown out the sound of the wind. The 12 and the 11 are pretty much the same. I really couldn't hear a difference, and I doubt anyone else can either. Now, while we're at it, we can also get the Bluetooth mic connection feature out of the way with a small example made just for you. In my ear right now are the Jabra Elite 4 Actives, and I was very happy to find out that the Jabra earbuds are actually compatible with GoPro's newest release. You can use Bluetooth with the GoPro Hero 12 to connect the Jabra earbuds and use them as an external mic. The full list of currently supported devices are the Apple AirPods and the Pro, the Pixel Buds and the Pro, the Samsung Galaxy Buds, the Jabra Elite, and the Bose Quiet Comfort series. Not sure if this feature will be open to all buds in the future, but we will just have to wait and see. One very cool thing about the 12, which is actually a shared feature with the 11, is that they both have a larger sensor which allows you to shoot in an 8:7 aspect ratio. The difference between this ratio and a classic 16:9 or 4:3 is that you're able to get more into the frame, which gives you much more creative freedom to shoot footage. For example, if you're using a GoPro while you're skateboarding or snowboarding, you won't see what you're shooting. 8:7 makes sure you're getting everything in the frame so that later you can pick and choose how you want your video to look while you decide to crop it into a 16:9 ratio. The big difference between the 11 and the 12 regarding the sensor is that on the 11, you're only able to use 8:7 to shoot regular videos, whereas on the 12, you can use this aspect ratio to shoot while recording in different modes such as time warp and time lapse, and I think this could be a game changer for some content creators that often like to utilize these modes. As for viewing angles, GoPro has come a long way since the 9. This is the widest angle on the Hero 9, and it's called the wide view, as most of you probably know. When the Hero 10 came out, they got the ball rolling with Super View, which is a bit wider than the previous version. The 11 and the 12 though have what is called Hyper View, which is even wider, as you are currently seeing on your screen. With the lenses, the sensors, and their capabilities behind us, time warp and time lapse are for sure two of my favorites. I love features, that's for sure, but these are especially fun to use. Time warp, which is a sped up and stabilized video, can be used in 4K on the Hero 9 and the Hero 10, while the upgrade came last year with the ability to shoot in the full 5.3K resolution on the Hero 11 and the 12. I don't see big differences in the video quality even with the resolution changing, and this is a further testament to GoPro maintaining a high standard throughout the generation of their newer releases. I also like to use slow motion a lot. This was probably the one thing that I always played around with on my phone while I was growing up. The resolution will come up on the screen along with the frame rate for our valuable viewers to have the best understanding on what is going on with each action cam. That being said, I really like the bright visuals of the 11 and the 12 here, maybe slightly improved color reproduction software. The Hero 10 is just a bit dark, and while shooting in 120 frames, I still do prefer the brighter footage of the 11 and the 12, they just look more appealing. We will be maxing out the frames in a bit though, and this is often my favorite because I like footage that can be really slowed down. 1080p for the 9 and 2.7K for the rest as the frames hit 240. I was kinda waiting for 4K 240 frames on the 12, but maybe I'm just out of my mind, who knows. As for photos, they look very similar in general, with all of them showcasing good quality. Slight differences do occur, like the Hero 10 being a bit brighter in the first picture, but this would change if we chose to take the photo again, which basically means that you can get slightly different photos when you take multiple photos, especially with the sun shining down on you. Besides this, I don't think anyone will have any specific problems when shooting photos with either of these cams, as they're all good and ready to roll, even in low light conditions. Interestingly, I prefer my skin tone the most on the Hero 10. The 11 and the 12 are a bit better at controlling the noise, most likely due to the bigger sensor absorbing more light, but having a new sensor can also cause issues with the software because the company might not be able to fine-tune it perfectly. As of this time, my preference in low light is the Hero 10 with the most accurate colors and bright visuals. After shooting everything, we checked the battery levels and saw that the 9 was at 27, the 10 at 31, the 11 at 36, and the Hero 12 at a mind-blowing 48%. This here is a big difference, so props to GoPro for turning the Hero 12 into a machine in terms of longevity. So, I guess the most important question is, which camera should you get? Well, that always depends on what you want to do with it. If it's just about video quality and you don't need 60 frames at 5.3K, then the 9 is just fine. The only drawback of the 9 is that it has the same chip as the GoPro 8 and is therefore sometimes very slow and has some lagging problems. The 10 no longer has this problem, which is why we would definitely recommend the 10 over the 9. The big advantage of the 11 is the new 8x7 sensor. Here you simply have much more possibilities in post-processing. However, the 8x7 format is only available in normal video modes. If you want to also record 8x7 in the other modes, you can only do this with the Hero 12. In addition, the 12 is the only one that can be coupled with a Bluetooth mic. However, there is one big minus point with the Hero 12. GoPro has decided to remove the GPS tracking from the camera. This means that you can no longer know how fast you were riding your bike, for example, or the distance that you covered. I don't quite understand why GoPro has chosen to do this, because I found the GPS function sometimes really useful. In the end, of course, it's also a question of money. The 12 costs $400, the 11 $350, the 10 around $250, and the 9 also around the same price as the 10. I hope we were able to help you make a better decision with this video. If so, let us know in the comments your favorite GoPro model, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this comparison. I'll see you soon.